All right, here we go. Day 12 of the advent of cyber. Let's go ahead and hop over to the machine. I'm blown up big right now as we wait for our machine to connect. Today we will be working with Malware Analysis, Forensic McBlue to the REVscue. See if we can't get this machine to open up. Well, there we go. All right. I've tried to do this about 3 or 4 times, and each time I've done this, I've ended up with an error. So hopefully we can make it through this time without an issue. All right, so today we're going to work on day 12, Malware Analysis, Forensic McBlue to the REVscue. And in today's task, the malicious document that was attached to the phishing email was confirmed to have been executed by our elf. Aside from the fact that the rogue connections were observed, we know little about what that malicious file does. So, our in-house expert, Forensic McBlue, confirmed that the malicious document spawned another suspicious binary. Pivoting from that, he dumped it from memory for this task to further analyze via a malware analysis. So our learning objectives are today, we're going to learn the fundamentals of analyzing malware samples without relying on automatic sandbox scanners, and we're going to learn and understand typical malware behavior and its importance in the incident investigation pipeline. So key malware behaviors. Before touching on the malware sample for this task, we do need to briefly introduce common malware behaviors to have a good perspective on what to expect in handling malware samples. A prominent word in cybersecurity right now is malware. It's a software created to harm a computer or an entire network. Threat actors develop malware to achieve specific goals, such as infiltrating a network or breaching for sensitive data, or possibly distributing operational or disrupting operational services. If you were to inspect several malware samples in the wild, a typical pattern arises, making analysis of other samples easier when they are experienced. Knowing these common behaviors gives us an idea of what to look for on the defensive side as we're looking at the malware. So, a couple of things: network connections, registry key modifications, and file manipulations. Those are 3 big things when it comes to malware. So given this knowledge, we can expect the possible behavior of malware during an investigation. So, quick note: the dangers of working and analyzing malware. So first off, always assume when you're working with the malware that those samples can and will infect the computer that you're on. Hence, executing it is not always the first and only step in analyzing the malware. Only run malware samples in a controlled environment that prevents potential compromise of unwanted assets. You do not want to detonate this stuff and blow up your network. It's always recommended that you have a sandbox, which allows you a worry-free execution of malware samples. Okay, one quick note: a sandbox is a control test environment that mimics the legitimate end-user work environment. It does give analysts a safe environment to execute that malware sample and learn the behavior of that malware. Lastly, having a ready sandbox does prevent analysts from running malware on their own workstations, which is a highly dangerous and impractical thing to do for the possibility of blowing up their own machine. So we've already gone ahead and logged in to our machine over here. Let's go ahead and slide down. We're going to look at 2 different ways to analyze malware tonight. One of them is a static analyzation, and the other is a dynamic analysis. So we have understood the prerequisites. We've already talked about all of those. Static analysis is a way of analyzing malware samples without executing code. This method mainly focuses on profiling the binary with its readable information, such as its properties, the program flows, the strings within it. Given the limitations of not executing it, sometimes the method gives us insufficient information. That can resort to a dynamic analysis, which will give us more. Meanwhile, a dynamic analysis mainly focuses on understanding the malware by executing it in a safe environment, such as a sandbox, like we talked about before. By doing this, you will see the malware live in action, its exact behavior, and how it affects the environment. All right, so let's jump into it. As discussed above, before popping off this malware, we need to conduct a static analysis. So our malware is currently located in our malware sample. So we'll go ahead and open up that malware sample. It says for this exercise, we will mainly use the following tools: Detect It Easy and CAPA. So Detect It Easy. Right click on the sample that is included and we will run Detect It Easy. This tool provides information about the file, such as architecture, significant headers, packers that are used, and strings. In this task, we will only utilize the basic functionalities of Detect It Easy to gain the basic information needed to analyze the binary. All right, so with this open, let's go ahead and right-click on our malware. Let's hit Detect It Easy. All right, and upon opening up Detect It Easy, we will immediately discover the binary's architecture and the executable packer used. So where's our architecture? Our architecture is right here, PE64, meaning it's a 64-bit binary. And if you look down here, we have a packer of UPX. So you may test this information by doing the following. View the strings to Detect It Easy. Which shows the overwhelming number of strings that are not significant for the investigation. Note, strings are a piece of text inside the binary, often containing information such as IP addresses, URLs, or URLs are like your what you put in the top of a browser, or file names used in the malicious program. So if we come over here to strings and we click on strings, we will see, because it is packed, all of this is obfuscated. We cannot read this. This is not readable to the human eye. Let's go ahead and close that out. Let's continue on. Since these are not readable to the human eye, we need to run CAPA, which shows that the binary mostly hides its logic and analysis which mostly hides the logic and analysis is affected due to the packer. So if we go ahead and open up our command prompt, and we change our directory, so we do CD and go into desktop. Whoa. Let's go into desktop, malware, not wall, but malware. And now that we're in there, let's run CAPA on our mystery gift, and let's see what happens. So CAPA detects the capabilities of the executable files. May it be for the installation of a service, invocation of a network connection, registry modifications, and such. To start playing with CAPA, fire it up the command prompt task. So we've already done all of this. We've added it in. Given the CAPA output, we have discovered that the malware sample is packed. You may have already seen this previously from the Detect It Easy. That is the binary. That's the binary that's packed. So in here we have our packer, and we said UPX, and we showed that in here as the packer of UPX. Perfect. Okay, so now let's unpack this binary using UPX and reanalyze the binary using CAPA. Okay, so to unpack this, we use UPX -D and then mystery gift. Now that we've unpacked it, that was quick. One file has been unpacked. Now what we want to do is, because we used CAPA before, it created a file. It created this mystery.viv file. And what we want to do is we want to delete that file out. So let's go del mysterygift.viv. And the reason we did that is because we'd executed before, that mysterygift.viv file was created and it cached those results. We wanted to remove that cache, and what we want to do is go ahead and create a new one. So now that we've unpacked it and we've removed that viv file, let's go ahead and hit our up arrow key a couple of times, and let's rerun CAPA on the mystery gift. With prior yet limited knowledge about malware samples, let's investigate more by doing a dynamic analysis. So let's run this and find out what's going on, and then it looks like we're going to go ahead and do a deep dive into dynamic malware analysis. I'm going to pull this up over here. And it looks like we're done. Okay, a quick run through on what we got. So with CAPA, it looks like we've gotten a couple of hashes for our actual file. These hashes we could probably use and go out to something like VirusTotal or somewhere and drop those hashes in and see if it's still bad. We've got our MITRE attack tactics. So we've got defense evasion, discovery, execution, and persistence. So it looks like those are the techniques that have been used. We've got obfuscation, file and directory discovery, system information discovery, shared modules. We come down through here. The capability of this, we've got check for software breakpoints, is compiled with NIM. So it says the compiler is NIM. It's encoded using 64-bit. Let's go ahead and slide down and see if there's anything we can answer. I've already answered one, so we've got 64-bit. We saw that earlier. The packer was UPX. Compiler is NIM. So NIM is our compiler. How many MITRE attack techniques have been discovered? So let's check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5. How many MITRE attack techniques have been discovered in the discovery tactic? Oh, discovery. So discovery file 2. We've got 2 in there. All right. What is the registry key abused by the malware? Okay, so now we need to get into a little bit deeper dive. Let's scroll back up, find out where we were at. Okay, now we get into the deep dive. You may have observed that we cannot execute that binary after double-clicking the file. Let me go ahead and drop this down. We'll close this out. I think we're done with that. So we need to add a file extension to it. Before renaming and executing the binary, let's prepare the tool we need for analyzing its behavior. ProcMon. ProcMon is a process monitor used by Windows to show real-time registry, file system, and process thread activity. You can learn more about it by clicking here. You may access it via the taskbar beside the command. So let's go ahead and click on our process monitor. Once open, you will be prompted by ProcMon filter, a feature used to filter the results logged by ProcMon. In this case, we want to focus on the events generated by mysterygift.exe. Let's see if we can copy and paste this. Let's set the condition to process is. So process name is mysterygift.exe. Add the filter. So let's add that filter. And choose OK to close the prompt. OK. Now let's prepare the malware sample for execution and rename it to mysterygift.exe. So let's open this back up, scroll into here, and let's do mv mysterygift, and we're going to do it to mysterygift.exe. And all we're doing, by using a move, all we're doing is renaming that file. All right, so we've renamed it. We are now ready to pop off the malware. Navigate to the malware sample folder, double-click the binary, and observe the results generated by ProcMon. It might be overwhelming at first, but let's utilize the functionalities to only show the information we want. Okay, so we're going to show registry, show file. So up here, we've got all of these that we can launch. And we're going to go here. And I guess we're going to give it a go. We're going to fire off this malware. Are we ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hello. So now we see all of the processes popped in. All right, so ProcMon has a panel that can filter all of the following. So we've got that. With these filters, we will focus on the first 3 registry, file system, and network. As discussed above, malware tends to do the following: registry modification, file modification, and network connections. So let's start investigating them one by one. First of all, registry modification. So let's remove the other 2. First, we want to determine if any significant registry modifications are executed by the binary, which is one of the expected behaviors introduced. To do this, unclick all the filters. So we did all that. The results still given are way too much. So now let's go ahead and start removing stuff out. So we want to remove, we'll right click on here and remove the open key. Let's exclude the open key. Let's exclude the reg key value. Let's exclude the reg query key. Oh wait, that's a close. Okay, we can do that one. And let's exclude reg query key. Yeah, reg query. Let's exclude that one. And now that we've done that, the view from ProcMon should yield the following results similar to this image. So we should have reg created, and set value. And having done this multiple times today, this is probably the 5th time this has happened to me. This is not what we're supposed to be getting. You may observe that only one registry key has both reg key and reg set values. So we have a reg set and a reg key value. Let's open this up and see what's in here. This is not what it's supposed to look like. Now let's also determine if malware. Okay, so knowing that this is wrong, I am going. I guess we will restart this machine once again. I've done this probably 4 or 5 times today, and it only happened once. I only got this thing to work one specific time. Let's put the other files in here and see. I do see that file, but the files we need to actually answer the questions are not there. Interesting. All right, we are going to run this again. In fact, you know what we're going to do this time? Let's do this. Let's run this as the admin. Let's see what happens. Maybe, there we go. I think it's going to show now. Because this is what I had to do last time. Alright, so let's pop up our filter again. Mystery gift, that's good. Let's go ahead and close this out. We are going to back out. We're going to shut this machine down and we're going to start it over. What's up, Claw? What's up, man? How's it going? Man, I ran earlier today. I went and picked up my kid, and on the way home, I like tweaked my back. So I did not get to work out today. Instead, I got a drink. Yeah, well, when it happened, it was one of those things that just random, like, ow, that hurts. I can still feel it in the middle of my back. Oh, come on. Nothing like getting on here to try and do this and it crashes. Come on, man. I am not a robot. Oh, cars, 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 cars. Geez, this was going to be a quick one, and now it's turned into a long This has happened all day long, too. Every time I do this one. Oh, it says I still have the machine up. Terminate this machine. Terminate. Good. Kill it. I don't want that machine. Let's start all over. All right. We got our machine popping up. One more second. All right, now there we go. All right, new machine 192.136. There we go. We'll accept this. Administrator. And let me in. Make this bigger. All right, now let's run this again. CD. Yeah, that's EPX dash D/mystery. Let's unpack this thing. And CAPA mystery gift. Fly through here. Try to get back where we were at. Mystery gift.exe. Add that on there. Hit OK. All right, we've got that on there. Now we're done here. Now we want to run move. All right, man. Have a good day. Have a good dinner. Move mystery gift to mystery gift.exe. We've done that. All right, so now we're back to our malware sample. We've got everything running. And now we want to fire this bad boy off. We've done this. Now we're going to run this as admin. All right, here we go. Fired it off. Now we've got all of our processes in here. So now we want to go through our processes and remove. So we're going to remove our process start. We're going to remove this one. We're going to leave just our registry keys. So now we're going to go with, we're going to move reg open keys. We're going to remove the reg query value. We're going to remove the reg query key. And we're going to remove the reg close key. And there we go. Now we've got everything set up on here. And now let's fire through here. The view of ProcMon should yield similar results, which it does. You may now observe that only one registry key has both create key and reg set value. So we've got two here. File modification. Now let's also determine if the malware sample executes file creations. It may indicate that the malware drops prerequisite files for its successful execution. Unclick all of the filters and choose the second filter. Show file system activity. Again, the results are still numerous, so let's add extra filters by focusing on only the file write events. Okay, before we do that, let's go down here and see if there's something. Okay, what is the registry key abused by the malware? We got long ones here. Is it this one? The run version? All right, we got that one right. What is the value written on the registry key based on the previous question? What's the value written? So if we come into here, we should be able to open this one. This is a value set. So if we open here, this value is written. Is this correct? All right. 2 for 2. We're rocking and rolling now. Okay, what are the names of the two files created by the malware under the C users administrator directory? All right. Let's go back up here and keep firing away. So we've done here, we've closed this. So now we want to close this out and we want to look at our files. All right. So we want to unclick the filters and choose the second filter, the files. Again, the results will be numerous. So we need to remove, let's exclude create file. So we want to exclude create file. We want to exclude create file mapping. Okay. We want to exclude query security file. Okay, let's remove that. Query name information file. Let's remove that one. Query basic information file. So let's remove that one. Close file. Let's remove that one. And read file. So let's remove that one. And this is what we're left with, our written files. Okay, the view from ProcMon should yield fewer results similar to the one below. It most certainly does. You may now observe that 2 files are written to the user administrator directory. Yeah, there's a write file. Okay. So let's come down here. What are the names of the 2 files created by the malware under directory? Do it in alphabetical order. So we have test. We have test.gpg. What else do we have in here? Wishes.bat. So test. Looks like they test.gpg. Looks like they put a test.gpg and wishes.bat. Wishes.bat. All right. What are the two domains wherein the malware is initiated a network connection? Well, guess what? If we remove here, our next spot on here is going to be our network. And lo and behold, we can see our connections in it. We're still popping connections off. We can see our connections to bestfestivalcompany.thm and virustotal.com. Okay, so let's look at here. What are the two domains? This is going to be... Let's see if I can copy and paste this. Let's take the easy way out, right? And virustotal.com. And there we go. All right, going back to strings inside the malware sample, what is the complete URL used to download the file host in the first domain? Okay, so now that we've done all of this, we can actually go back to our file and right click on it again and do detect it easy once more. And now remember in the beginning we clicked on those strings and all we got was a whole bunch of gobbledygook, right? Well, now let's hit strings and see what we get. And we should be able to filter through this, and knowing that it's a website, we should be able to put HTTP. And now we see our two spots. So we have virustotal.com, and then it looks like the one website that's actually pulling the file, copy that string, looks like it is bestfestivalcompany.thm/favicon.ico. Let's remove this. Go ahead and submit. And we have completed. If you enjoyed this malware analysis, try the Intro to Malware Analysis or Dissecting PE Headers in Next Rooms. So that was it. That was a fun room. Let's go ahead and read this conclusion. In conclusion, we have covered several topics on this task about malware analysis. For a quick summary, we have learned the following things. Key behaviors of malware aid in hiding an overview of what to expect in examining malware samples, the precautions needed to consider while handling malware samples, and the importance of those sandboxes. Conduct a static analysis and profile the nature of the binary without executing it. That's what we did before while we ran detect it the first time on here, and we did a static analysis of this before we dove into it. And then we performed a manual dynamic analysis and observed the interactions of the malware sample in the registry file network, and that's what we used ProcMon for, to dive deep into it and find all of the files and the processes. Finally, complete the findings and answer when we've answered as we went along. So perfect. We were able to finish out today's on Advent of Cyber Day 12. Tomorrow we'll pop in and do Advent of Cyber Day 13. Hey, Karsten, what's up, man? I am just about to drop off. With all of that complete, I'm going to go ahead and terminate my machine. Don't want to leave this up. Close that out. We've finished off Day 12. It looks like the last couple of days we've been analyzing malware, and who knows what will go tomorrow, as long as we can attack that Yeti and get him out of our system and save Christmas. But until then, I will be back tomorrow for Day 13. See you then.